G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is ZENIT REDUX. This weapon mod gives you two Kalashnikov type weapons. This one is an AK-74, this one is an AKM. Although they may look the same to an untrained eye, the main difference between these rifles is that this one shoots a smaller 5.56 caliber, which is chambered just in the standard 5.56 NATO rounds that are already in the game, so it's compatible with weapon ammo types that already exist, which is fine. But this one, however, is chambered in the Russian standard 7.62, which is just the bullets you get from Nuka World. And if they wanted to make this thing not reliant on Nuka World, what they could do instead is just make it fire 308. It's close enough, right? Anyway, so that's the main difference between those things. The customization on these is not all that dissimilar to each other. There's a couple of other things you could do on the AK-74, including making the barrel shorter, which is actually linked to the receiver, which is interesting enough. You can upgrade all of those to powerful auto or powerful semi-auto with a short barrel for each of those variants just with the AK-74. So there's nothing you can do to change the barrels other than just with the receivers there. So what we'll do is we'll chuck on the powerful automatic for this one, and then we'll move on. You can change the handguard on this thing, including taking versions with many Picatinny rails on it, or even more Picatinny rails by adding one to here and replacing that dust cover, so you don't have to use that funky AK mount to put scopes and sights on. Or you could have yet even more Picatinny rails, and you can put laser sights on literally anywhere. So if you want super good hipfire accuracy, you can totally do that if you want to. We'll have this covered in Picatinny rails. You might notice that with that, it kind of looks a little bit like an AK-12, and you can sort of almost customize this to be an AK-12 looking thing with this thing stock. There's also a bunch of American base attachments as well. So if you want to make a really cursed AK with a Magpul stock, magazine and an EOTech American sight, you can totally do that if you want to. Right now we've got the Sl20 Magazine, which is 30 round magazine, or you could have a black one which requires gun nut rank 2 to do. Most of these are on the cosmetics. There's only a couple of these that actually give you an increased ammo capacity. This one is 45 rounds, the rest of them 30, except for the Sl31 here, which is like a quad stacked magazine, which is just asking for jams, but that doesn't happen in Fallout 4. We're all gun experts, we know how to maintain and use our weapons properly, I suppose, so that's okay. Right now, we can chuck on sights, and you definitely get places where you can put them. You want them there or there. If you've got the handguard, then you have access to put them in a couple of different places if you want. I'm always drawn to use these types of sights because I like them in Battlefield, but like I said, you can chuck on some American-based sights if you want to, including ones with little magnifiers on them as well, which I think is kind of neat. And some extra scopes down here. A couple of these are mostly, actually, I think most of them are see-through, and I've discovered that they have the proper keywords of scopes, so you can utilize them with the sniper perk if you want to get cheap knockdowns, which will come to save me, I think, in this video going forward. But that's what you get, a whole lot of sights going on. There's also night vision ones if you feel like it. And you can chuck on muzzle brakes or compensators just to control the recoil a little bit, or you could slap a big fat burrito suppressor on the front for increased damage thanks to Ace Operator, and that's definitely what I'm going to do. I like it. You can change the pistol grip to an AK-12. Most of these look cosmetic. They don't actually increase your stats, so if you want an American grip on this to make this thing even more cursed, then you can do that. And for the grips, you've got a whole bunch of things, including a Gaydon grip, which is a ball sack. You can put a ball sack on your AK if you want. I don't think it'd appreciate that being there, but it is what it is. We'll throw in an angled grip, but all of these will help you control the recoil a little bit. And there's also a flashlight here, which looks almost like it could be a grenade launcher. That'll probably shine through most concrete walls. That looks like a very bright thing right there. And there's a couple of laser sights you can utilize here. There's some laser sights you can slap across the top of this thing to increase your hipfire accuracy if you need. And there's some laser sights you can slap on the side too. Do a 3 laser sight matrix and you'll find that your hipfire accuracy would be pretty good. And you can have a bunch of materials which will change some of the stuff, but not all of it. It's kind of interesting how that all works out, but you can throw a little bit of tan on there if you want. I don't really think that's the best looking thing, but you can have factory new. We'll do that. Other than that, this thing's going to be completely black unless you have a wooden handguard or wooden stock on this thing, which I think is very aesthetically pleasing if I don't say so myself. Now you can chuck on extra damage if this thing isn't quite doing it for you. You can do another 100% damage to offset the penalties from very hard difficulty if you're a stickler for damage, which I am, but I will not be doing. Legendary effect is there if you need it. Same thing pretty much happens with the AKM here, although a couple of things worth mentioning is there's a banana mag in there, which looks like that. And that's kind of it. Let's go to shoot stuff now. In order to get these weapons in-game, just scroll to the bottom of your chemistry station down to Zenit, and you can craft these for 1,000 caps each. No requirements other than that, not even perk requirements, so they're not even level gated, they're just cap gated. That's an interesting approach. Righto, so here we are outside of the Immersive Gunners Plaza once again at 9 AM, so I'm not going to get the sun in my eyes, and neither are they, so it's an equal playing field today. This right here is an AK-74 in first person with its Cobra reflex sight, and I've noticed stuff with my preliminary testing. There's not a whole lot of recoil on this weapon because, well, I don't have to wrestle with it. Granted, there's a little bit of spread. You can barely see it from even back here, but yeah, that doesn't help. But this thing should be really easily controllable. Even the heavy caliber AKM doesn't seem to have a whole lot of recoil either, so that should make stuff a little bit easier, just keeping the things on target, not having to worry about whether to wrestle it. And I think the reason they've done that is because you've got a selection of see-through scopes which you can use. This is an unsuppressed AK-74, and if I fire this thing, maybe it's not having the suppressor on this to reduce that recoil even further, but there's a lot of recoil here, and even if you want to microburst it, the thing's going to be dancing around quite a lot, so potentially less practical to be used on an automatic receiver, but you can still do it. And here's an AKM with a see-through scope again, but slightly higher in the range of magnification. There's the reload animation in third person. A quick look at these things in third person, I think, is in order as well. Not terrible looking weapons, quite like them. Let's get started, make sure we've got all our magazines at full capacity. And knowing that we've got very little recoil to deal with, I'm thinking that we might be able to get a few really cheap, easy kills just to start off with. Because the gunners, if they're standing there, standing nice and still, and that one's behind a thing, so that doesn't help. If they like to stand still and maybe are susceptible to being sneak critted, then we could probably do well, which we only managed to get one kill there, so maybe not. This is what happens when you fight in broad daylight. The sneaky don't work unless you're playing Fallout 76, and then it's different. Then sneaking is really easy. Anyways, let's start shooting stuff. Make sure we have our barrel discipline. Stand back a little bit from our cover before shooting, otherwise the bullet simply won't make it over. Looks like there's a little bit of fog rolling in. I've installed a mod that might clear that out pretty quick smart, so we'll see how that goes. Looks like we could explode that mantis, which is good, but now there's like a billion gunners shooting at me, so we're going to go around the side here. I'm going to swap over to the heavy caliber AKM and see what we can do here. If we can get back into caution to get some sneak criticals back. There we go, that's a confirmed kill there. And sometimes if their head's peeking around the corner, maybe we could snip it off a little bit with the amazing accuracy of this weapon, provided we can get a good shot on them in the first place, which we're kind of struggling to do there. Let's run around here and engage all of those gunners later. That was a headshot from that gunner. That's a MG42, so I'm glad to have that knocked out of your hands. I believe that one's got an anti-material rifle. He's tried to hit me through the wall. Then I've just got no scoped by 50 BMG. Just a standard day here in Fallout 4. If they can tank it, then I can tank it. Let's switch over to something a little bit more auto for these close quarters environments. Okay, let's go back to the suppressor. Someone here has popped the stealth boy. Everyone up here appears to have anti-material rifles, which is great because their DPS over a collective time is not that great. But let's switch over to something a little bit more long range now that they're... Oh yeah, there's like a billion dudes here. And it looks like, despite having a scope that is a little bit on the see-through side, the correct keywords have been inputted. And yeah, okay. Let's not re-peek that. That's not good news. But it looks like we can get sniper knockdowns, which helps when we're getting shot by MG42s, would you believe? Even 4 shots in the head is going to be what it takes to kill these guys. So I better get my kills happening here. We'll try to pick off as many as we can whilst not being seen as possible. There we go. We'll try to regenerate health as we gain a few kills. That's the Creation Club gunner with the prototype gas rifle. Good on her, I guess. And luckily for me, I can see where that guy is because his laser sight is so bright that it penetrates through walls. That's great. Lovely. Alright, we're slipping back into caution. We'll try to make a little bit of advantage of this. There we go. Still in caution. Still going. Still stealth commanding. We'll try to keep in the shadows here. Maybe hide in the bush. Like other shooters that shall remain nameless. 60-round magazine doing pretty well for me at the moment. Oh, yeah. Brilliant. It's making me sick. This damage, this stealth commandoing. I can't believe it. Alright, we'll switch weapons because I'm not sitting through a reload animation. Let's go back to the AKM. And with that cheeky little level up there, that gets us a full refill on health. A nice little bloody mess stagger knocks that gunner out. Straight for a flank shot. And looks like we'll be pretty comfortable to kill the rest of them. That big in the shadows stealth commando streak there, that was clutch. I needed that for sure, but I'm definitely liking the feel of this at close and medium ranges, and having that under control recoil with laser beam like accuracy has done really well there. And it looks like there's only one little breach left to do, so I guess we'll reload our 74 and tactically breach the door with a flashbang. Just kidding, I don't have any, although I should. We catch one of these guys napping, the rest of them aren't susceptible to my stealth commandoing. And I'm glad she decided to bash me rather than shoot me, because that MG42 actually would have killed me. Alright, pretty good run there, and no rain to speak of. Thank you, Always Clear Weather mod. It's not super clear, but it's good enough. The colors are less dark and dreary. Good job, Carla. Oh, right as I finish, it starts raining. Good timing. Alright, time to topple the super mutant behemoth. It was raining before, but now it's not, and the gun is still leaking from the rain, but don't worry about that. It's still a watertight solution here. I'm fairly... Okay, so one just knocked himself over there. He would have been hit by one of those boom bugs, or he would have killed it, and then that sort of creates knockdown, which you can use tactically against him if you so wish, but we're kind of being screwed over for sneak criticals here, so we'll try to get the little bastards. Headshots here actually pretty likely. I just realized I haven't used this thing in Vats yet, so I guess we'll do that. Not super impressed by that damage. Oh, good. It's raining. This clear weather only mod is making me eat my words, and they taste salty. Anyways. Get these little bastards out of here. You'd think they'd be a lot easier to hit than they are. That one is breakdancing. Don't worry about that. Anyway, we're being penalized for range heavily here, I feel like. But we're back to sneak critting everything, which is great. Great for damage, but we'll keep him knocked down. We'll even grab the AKM for this, just for that extra little bit of damage here and there. That's got him nice and mutated. Let's find his head here for an impressive amount of damage, I must say. That's 1,000. Oh, wow. Okay. So having 0 recoil makes even hip firing this thing absolutely splendid. It's great. And those are the boom bugs, by the way. And I just got covered in boom bug blood. I'm glad it's raining. That'll wash off nice and quick. I like how the AK is also covered in it. And those are Mirelurks. Because they lurk in a place called the Mire. Do you remember the Mire from Fallout 76? I just headshot that Mirelurk. I'm on fire here. Alright. Let's find another monster. Maybe another crab monster. We'll see. Alrighty. So we're going to go and take out these raiders and have a nightmare from this rad toad. Yuck. Look at it. Get out of here. We'll use the unsuppressed variants because these guys are slightly less tanky than the gunners we've already fought. And I want to get more use out of this see-through scoped variant that I've created. I actually aimed there by waiting until the laser sight was on him just there. My goodness, this recoil is insane. Yeah. That makes it a whole lot easier to control if I use it in third person. Okay, that person goes up and punches the person standing in front of her with an automatic rifle. They're not known for the brains, these raiders, I don't think. Stop that. Actually, what have you got there? You've got a funky hairstyle. That's from Fallout 3. Oh, that's an SVD. Yes, we all know about SVDs. They're fun. That's from the Russian pack. And yeah, we're crushing these little babby guys. They're nothing compared to the gunners. And there, over there, is a Mirelurk Queen. But you bloody throw grenades at me. That was a flashbang you threw. Actually, I might be able to utilize that. There it is. I'll just whack that on for sure. That might save my ass in a second. I don't know if the Mirelurk Queens are susceptible to it. I would have to say that they're not. There's a Deathclaw fighting a Gulper here. That's a big Gulper. And the Raider's getting involved. He's punching him. He's a basic Raider, though, so that's never going to work, buddy. I feel like we need a little bit more power here. We'll back Team Gulper here. There we go. Now, what are you going to do? I was on your side, buddy. Oh, he's going to take a Mirelurk Queen. Yep, that Gulper's on Bundy. Alright, we'll give him a hand. See if we can't knock down a Mirelurk Queen. Can you? I don't think you can. That would seem a little bit silly. Now he's going to run. Hang on, is there more? There's a couple of feral mongrels. I'll get rid of those. Oh, you had your chance, Gulper. You could have ran, but now I've got to put you down. Alright. Our last target over there is going to be a Mirelurk who is friends with a monster over there. Get out of here. And we actually get an instant knockdown there. Oh, he actually launched up into space for a second. We've been pretty lucky on the knockdowns. Having a 30-round mag and a fire rate like this makes it pretty easy. It's kind of like the standard vanilla game assault rifle, where you could potentially get an 80-round mag and an advanced receiver that shoots just as quick, and you just lock anyone down. And don't get me started on scoped shotguns. They're crazy. So, with this stealth rifleman approach, you could potentially say that it is mostly more ammo efficient to do it this way. And I think that it is by a considerable margin, because you get all that armor penetration with the rifleman, but with commander you get staggering, which is great for stopping charging enemies, but less useful should you use should you need to kill something a little bit more armored. I'm gonna flashbang. It worked! That thing can be flashbanged, and I totally squandered my ability to shoot at it, but those staggers are coming in pretty handy. Ouch. That's not good. We'll bring out a stronger AK here. Maybe slip back into caution, perhaps? Yeah, nah. Need a stagger. There it is. Time for Vats, I think. We'll let the damage reduction from Vats help us out a little bit. I'm noticing that we don't get a lot of shots in Vats at all. Just a couple of round bursts, and that's all she wrote. And this is fine. I can probably dodge him pretty easily. We'll get yet another knockdown. I'll bring back the AKM with the suppressor. There you go. Most of that rattled along his shell, so potentially, yes, less useful than first thought. Although he's dived in the water here, which might stop the initial velocity of the bullets, but stop right there. Wow, that couldn't have been closer. I was a frame away from death there, and I think he knows that. Quick little stagger there helps me out. This is not the right AK, is it? Oh, it is. We'll go for some criticals here. No, we won't. Yes, we will. Just gotta get that reload. And I actually thought I'd survive, but I got into nerd rage. So all is well. Alright, so with that close range brawl with several AKs against a giant crab monster, which is totally susceptible to flashbangs, I guess everything is, if they're upscaled versions of what's already in the game. I think I will call it a video there. Highly recommend this mod if you are of the Eastern European persuasion and you like your AKs. This is yet another high quality weapon mod to add into your game. Is it lore friendly? Yes. Lore nerds grab it. It's good stuff. And I've got one of these has like a laser flashlight set up. I don't think I actually ended up bringing that out. It's all standard Pip-Boy flashlight stuff, but you can get those, and it adds another customization option, which I didn't mention earlier. But anyways, grab it. It's a good weapon mod. Links in the description. Thank you very much for watching.